What's going on, guys? This is just sort of like I would have done it as a live stream, but for whatever reason, live stream doesn't allow me to change the. Let me pick my eye. I'm not going to edit it, so you're going to watch me pick my eye. Anyway, it won't let me edit the title until after I post it. So if I did it as a live stream, plus it's 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, and I don't know how many people are going to watch this. At least not my regular subscribers. But I don't even know who most of my subscribers are now, because I do know 1,300 people, but I also know that the 1,300 people I know are not subscribed. So the 1,300 subscribers I have, the likelihood of all of them watching me at 3 o'clock in the morning is pretty slim. I'd probably end up with a bunch of Indians while they're shitting themselves, right? Which apparently is an internet trend right now. Anyway, what this video is about is YouTube Music versus Spotify. Obviously, I would be leaning toward the YouTube side because this video is not going to be on Spotify. So, hey. But because Android Auto recently has decided that YouTube Music is not safe to use while driving. Now, I can use it with Android Auto, but the steering wheel controls don't work, so I can't skip songs and stuff. That means I have to touch my phone. That makes it less safe. So I leaned into Spotify, and I'm now in a situation where I don't pay for YouTube Premium or Spotify Premium because different women, one's a friend, one's I don't know what she considers herself to me, so it doesn't matter to me. But I'm not paying for either. I've been using YouTube Music for the last 7-8 years and developing the algorithm to understand my taste in music so they can suggest things that I might be interested in and actually work. So I figured I'd take my songs like playlist, which is the only playlist that I can't share on YouTube, which sucks because I would just play that. It's 4,000 songs. And I like every one of them, or did at some point, because the idea with that list was everything I've ever liked. And I go through phases where I pick up new music and I like everything. So I was set out to move all that stuff to Spotify. Not that it would move, but just copy it. Flipping back and forth, copying all the stuff. Somehow I managed to take a 4,000 song playlist, transferred to Spotify, and only get 1,200 songs. So I got to be thinking about, why can't I find all that stuff? Well, Spotify is more worried about pure music. So a lot of the stuff I like on YouTube is not stuff that the artists themselves ever posted, or it's fan-made videos, including myself making videos for songs that didn't have videos or didn't exist on YouTube at all. And there's not much stuff that doesn't exist on YouTube, but there's a lot that doesn't exist on Spotify. So all the mashups, some of the mashup artists do exist on Spotify, but they only have 1 or 2 songs because Spotify is more worried about copyright than YouTube is. But I think about it, and I hear Rogan bitch about Spotify, and he posts on both platforms now. So, even though he had a $400 million contract with Spotify to try to get people to come over to Spotify from YouTube, but it didn't really work. I'd go to Spotify just to listen to Rogan, but I never wanted them to handle my music because they suck. Because, like I said, 4,000 songs, and a lot of the music that's on that 4,000 songs aren't just mashups, but they're unapologetically shitty covers of really popular songs that are freaking hilarious, and all the user-made content that fits into mashups, remixes, all that stuff, but also fits into covers and parodies and all that stuff. So Rolling Blue ain't really on Spotify. He's got a couple songs on there, but not much, because it has to be so much different than the original for them to be able to monetize it. They don't allow it. Then that works with Frog Leap and a lot of the other covers, Anthony Vincent, and I like those guys. I don't like that they talk for 15 minutes after they do a 3-minute song in the video. Like, I get it, I'm rambling, but this is a video about rambling, that's bitching about Spotify mostly. But I'm also bitching about YouTube because the only difference on the platform that, in the app between Spotify and YouTube Music is that YouTube Music has a slider where you can watch video. But if you just disabled that while you're driving, which is entirely possible, then I could use YouTube Music while I'm driving, because like up until like 6 months ago I could use YouTube Music while I was driving, so this never became a factor. Now I'm stuck with Spotify, which has all the clear stuff, and yeah, I like a lot of music and I can find most of the bands on there, but not all of them, because I'll hear bands bitch about Spotify too, because Spotify doesn't pay. So there's a lot of music that even some artists that have all of their music on there, or most of their music on there, there's some songs that they only release on YouTube, or they might be on Pandora. I don't know. I'm not using that shit because it doesn't work the same way. But it's kind of shitty. Anyway, I got work to do, so thanks for watching. I'll see you, my friends, in my next video.